The Sports Carnival back here with you Tuesday morning, 8 o'clock Central Time Zone, 6 o'clock Western Time Zone, where Chad Forrester is absolutely not awake yet. I'm Dave. This is Matt, the owner of the Recovery Room. We're broadcasting here, Matty, from the Trauma Center studio. You can see that over my right shoulder. Powered by the Recovery Room. And boy, what a fucking awesome bingo night we had last night at the Recov, where the newly minted most lucky man in all of lacrosse, Matt/Eagle McBride, won our big bingo jackpot. This, of course, is coming on the heels of him winning a gift certificate to the Recovery Room, which, by the way, we do have a chance for you to win another $20 gift certificate back up on our Facebook group page. My Facebook feed, we've got it on Instagram. I put it on Twitter. If you want to get yourself free money from the Recov, we've got another opportunity. Matt, we'll draw the winner for that Friday morning at about 8:30. So I've got this promotion going all the way through the rest of the week, Friday morning at 8:30, but I digress. Really fun time last night. And like I mentioned, Matt/Eagle McBride is going to become known as the luckiest man in all of lacrosse because, again, he won that gift certificate and then he wins a big bingo jackpot last night. It was a great night last night.
Better go buy a Powerball there, Matty. If luck, you got a horseshoe up your ass as it is, and just pay it forward to me and Dave if you end up pulling that off.
Yeah, indeed. Well, he tipped me for doing bingo last night, so I appreciated that. And listen, we keep getting a bigger and bigger bingo crowd. I love drawing the number B4 because I say this on a weekly basis. I ask this question before you knew there was bingo on Monday night at the Recovery Room. Was Monday night really worth living? And the answer resoundingly, Matt, was no.
I heard you pull that when I came back over for a little bit yesterday, man. It was great. It was great.
It's beautiful.
Great environment, great crew. I don't like compliments, but I love especially doling them out, especially when they're warranted. And this is also to you, my staff, and everybody out there listening, everybody coming down. It was our best Monday night for a crowd that we've had outside of obviously a New Year's or a holiday since pre-COVID. So Thank you for all the listeners. Thank you for everybody coming out. And thank you again to you, Dave, for having a good, showing everybody and having everybody have a good time. Bartenders, thanks for kicking it as well. I saw Nash had to come back behind the bar. He was very excited about his Stacks Family Farm hat.
Yes.
So shout out to Johnny Wad and the Stacks Family Farm crew. He got his hat. So once again, thank you to everybody.
Yeah, it was, you're right. And everybody did such a great job. Gabby running on like zero sleep for about 3 days. We had Connor behind the bar. Nash comes back behind the bar. And the folks that were in attendance, Matt, they had a great time. So if you were there, it was awesome to see it. Matty Ice, we had Kyle Morningwood, even Jeremy P12 Foreman showed up. This a couple days after he had his back fused. Unbelievable. I told him he's like a less child-beating version of Adrian Peterson. So he's able to rebound really quickly without actually having to beat children with switches. Very, very interesting.
I didn't know you went down that road. That's
absolutely.
That's hard for me to swallow. Yeah. Okay.
I'm just saying. We also put up something yesterday about Jeremy Foreman on our social media feeds. If you saw the Sports Carnival snippet, then you might have seen this. But if not, there is a question that still lingers. Is Foreman actually the Fisher King? Because, Matt, we were talking about his problems at the hospital. Remember Robin Williams played the Fisher King. So we wondered if Foreman was the Fisher King or an actual Gunderson patient. Again, the Sports Carnival snippet from yesterday is up on social media. It is a legit question because people have thrown quarters in his Mountain Dew, and we've had to stop them from doing that. So,
well, and he didn't get chained to his by the security, so he's wandering around. He didn't get arrested. So, Foreman, we're happy you're out. Hopefully, you're feeling a little bit better and enjoying some actual oxygen instead of that wonderful hospital air. I guess
he seemed to be doing just fine last night. As a matter of fact, brought over famed steroid user Rafael Palmeiro's autographed baseball bat, and he wants to donate that to the Recovery Room as part of a giveaway of sorts. I don't know. We've got a lot of fans. What can we say? We like that. Rob Dog, speaking of fans, from Stoddard checking in, and Matt wants to start off this morning with this question. He wants to know what we think of how the Cubs and D-backs game was only 2 hours and 4 minutes. This is good stuff right now.
I love it.
This is good stuff.
And I know you and I have kind of disagreed on a couple things talking about timeliness in baseball. I agree that baseball can be boring, but if a game can be done in 2 hours and 4 minutes, that's great. The worst thing about going into baseball is they shut down selling beer after the seventh inning stretch. So
that's a foul.
It's a great way for everybody to make sure they get out and enjoy the game. I do believe, I can't remember if it was yesterday. So we have so much sports and things going on in my head. I believe the game started on a 1-1 count. Think about that. So both the pitcher and
the game started on a 1-1 count?
So it wasn't 0-0. The pitcher and the batter both screwed up. So there was a 1-1 count when they both stepped into the plate because the pitcher took too long and the batter took too long. That's part of my rant when we ever get to the later. Baseball rules are all fucked up right now. It is what it is.
Okay, see, this is good because, all right, I love where we're going with this because, like you've said, you've got a lot of sports and stuff in your head. Mostly stuff, some sports. You've got a rant that we're going to be getting to. And as a matter of fact, I'll put this up on the screen here with Morning Wood's question or take on form. And it's not a question, it's a take. And then we'll kind of run down what it is we're doing this morning, which is going to be a ton of fun. Morning Wood last night came out. Awesome to see it. It says this about Jeremy Foreman. And this will be a topic of our conversation. Foreman has come back sooner with a back surgery or from a back surgery than LeBum, a.k.a. LeBron James, comes back off a bum ankle.
It's the worst time to have injuries right now in the NBA right now. Obviously, Janus has his issues, but it was scary for the Lakers for a lot of reasons yesterday.
Dude, we've got a lot to cover with this. As a matter of fact, as a tangent Laker fan here, I'm going to ask you this question. It's on our Twitter feed, @TheSportsCarney. It's on our Facebook group page. Now that LeBron James will likely miss several weeks, possibly the rest of the regular season, are the Lakers' playoff hopes officially dashed? So we'll be checking in on our Twitter feed and our Facebook group page for your responses to that. We've also got UWL football coach Matt Janus joining us, Matt, at 8:30 this morning. This is going to be a fun one. We have got 5 random questions for Coach Matt Janus. We also have to ask him about his quarterbacks because this is QB week at UWL. And I want to take both of your temperatures on the potentiality of the Bears trading the number 1 pick, because it seems like from all reports and indications, that is what's going to happen. We need to talk about the XFL this morning, guys and gals, because what the XFL did over the weekend in their inaugural weekend is historic. And I'm telling you, this thing's got a lot of legs. So we'll talk about that. If you want to join us, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch are the platforms in which we get the interaction. YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. You might also be watching us on LinkedIn, on Twitter. Top of the morning to you. We'll be back here on the Sports Carnival, broadcasting live from the Trauma Center studio. What can I say? The Recovery Room on 7th and Mississippi Street is not only my favorite bar in all of downtown La Crosse, Wisconsin, it's my favorite restaurant in all of downtown La Crosse, Wisconsin. Breakfast served 8 to noon, Saturday and Sundays, daily specials, incredible cocktails, and the best damn wait staff in the entire city. My buddy Matt knows how to treat you right, and that's why when you go to the Recovery Room on 7th and Mississippi, you're always going to have a great time and a great meal with a great cocktail. So if you haven't been in a while, or perhaps you're just regular and you want to stop in again, make it a thing. I'm there every single week. How about you?
Hello, I am Don Francisco, and I roast and blend coffees for your pleasure and mine. My newest blend is Vanilla Nuts. The coffee so rich and so sweet, it tastes like the French Alps has dangled its in your cup of java. If you love coffee like I do, then you'll love Don Francisco's with a 135-year tradition. Because at Don Francisco's, if you're up all night, so are we.
Ah, yes, Don Francisco's, the smooth taste of savings. Gotta love that Don Francisco's. Top of the morning, guys and gals. Welcome back to the Sports Carnival. Want to send a special shout out to the official attorney of the Sports Carnival, Sean O'Neill, the O'Neill Law Firm. Downtown La Crosse on 5th Street, the King on 5th building, as a matter of fact. Family, bankruptcy, even criminal law. Sean's your guy. Our good buddy Kyle Cable, One Trust Real Estate. Matt, looking forward to talking to him, hopefully on Friday morning back here on the program. Want to get his take on some of the football that we have to come. XFL Week 3, which, boy, is really putting a big is putting a big stamp on this post NFL season, and a whole lot of other betting stuff we'll talk about with Kyle coming up on Friday. We just got confirmed John Papadopoulos, ESPN 105.5, who you can listen to the Sports Lead Monday through Friday, 3 to 6. He'll be jumping aboard with us Thursday morning. And, of course, coming up this morning, we've got Matt Janus, UWL head football coach. He'll be aboard at 8:30. But, you know, really fun time.
Some great guests.
It's
going to be a great week.
It's going to be a fantastic week. It's sunny outside today. It was raining cats and dogs yesterday. Sunny outside today.
42 today, and supposedly inch of snow, though, tomorrow.
Okay, that's enough out of you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll shut up.
Meteorologist Matt's going to be put in the corner right now.
I got nothing to do when I wake up at 4 a.m. I tried to get ready for you. I said earlier, Dave's our Captain Hook. I'm just trying to be Smee and help out along the way. So it is what it is.
All right, so we've got a lot to cover. We mentioned LeBron. He's a subject, and the Lakers, of our poll question this morning. We've got Matt Janus coming up. We've got some Bears talk to sprinkle in. And if you feel like it, we can get into a discussion about Aaron Rodgers, the Packers, or the Bucs, or the Brewers. That's going to be up to you. But I want to get to something, Matt, that you've been preparing for some time. This, again, part of your lack of sleep protocol. And I don't know if it's a rant or if it's just a series of statements. I'm going to let you go with this because I've got responses, I hope, to most, if not all, of these particular points that you've laid out for us.
Well, and I'm obviously trying to bring up some of this because most of this is tried to be directed at you. I'd love your response. Everybody out there listening, if you want to chime in, as Dave mentioned, you know how to connect with us. It's a crazy day. It's only fucking Tuesday, Dave, and I have to go off for a second.
Sure.
And I'm going to go.
Let's go.
Let's start. Lonzo LaMelo, you can't ball. Is that too soon? I don't know.
Ouch. LaMelo Ball just fractured his ankle, non-contact play, and he's having a great season. The Hornets aren't, but he is. He's a good player, but dude, they're brittle.
I don't know if Lonzo's ever going to come back and play. Is where I'm at on
that's
that.
That's a real point right there.
The season's over for both of them. La Crosse, Wisconsin, especially on the south side. Are you ready for 2 to 3 months of roundabouts? Dave, how was your drive in this morning?
My drive was real easy, bud.
A lot easy.
I'm not gonna lie to you. This drive is not killing me.
A lot easier than it was a couple of years. Yeah, it is.
A couple of fucking months ago.
Yep. All right, here we go. Blackhawks, Blues. Bet against them.
Ooh.
And the Oklahoma Thunder. Sorry, I did my best.
The Blackhawks and the Blues. Here's the thing:
they traded everybody.
Well, let me just throw this out here. The Blackhawks are giving people the blues because the Blackhawks are just in a really rough way. I'm a little surprised about the Blues, to be frank, because they were just a Stanley Cup team. What, three seasons ago? Yeah, 2-3 seasons ago. So I was a little surprised. Listen, the NHL can shift really, really quickly, but teams like the Chicago Blackhawks, the St. Louis Blues, they've been perennial powerhouses. I mean, Chicago they've been a little bit off center for the last 4 or 5 years, but they had a great run, had a Stanley Cup championship, in 2010, 2011?
They had a few. I went streaking through the quad at Viterbo a few times, so I enjoyed all of that. So,
do you know God hates you for that, right?
You have to believe in him.
Yeah, but that you went to Aquinas. That's your college. That's your college tie-in.
No, but I also went to Viterbo, or I didn't go to Viterbo. I went to U of L. I gave up on organized religion a long time ago.
How do you think Javon's going to feel about you this morning now?
I don't really. I mean,
by the way, Javon, if you're listening, well, love you, buddy.
But
good to see you last night.
I always will run through any quad, and unfortunately, the closest quad to me to the bar. If I was close to UWL, I would have streaked UWL. Okay.
Just saying. Okay.
Patrick Kane, yes, he is one of the best goats of all time in Chicago. Not only in Chicago, but also being an American player, meaning not Canadian. They're trading him away. The Blues have traded away everybody. The Blues are reminiscent to me of the 2016 Cubs, where you had it and then you just gave it all away. They're rebuilding similar to the Cubs right now.
Sure.
I will throw this out to you going back on my rant. The Houston Rockets seem to cover. I don't know. That's a Vegas Dave question.
Not really. I mean, I had Houston on a 3-leg parlay teaser card, and I had them plus 18 the other night.
Well, that's why I had to ask Vegas Dave. And
yeah, I mean, they listen, they could be a spoiler. They could be a spoiler in some situations.
Well, no,
I shouldn't say that.
I'm saying as a betting aspect.
No, from a betting aspect, yes. They can be a spoiler. Actually, and now I digress. I think San Antonio. I was thinking about a horrible team from Texas. I think San Antonio is the team that I had on that parlay. So I shouldn't say that. I'd have to check. I'll take your word for it right now. Maybe Houston is a good team to bet against or bet on as far as against the spread.
Well, and you know how good I am at the NBA. I got the goddamn fucking Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz. Yeah. I'll stay away on that.
That's a real slight to Denver, by the way.
Yeah,
it really is, because Denver's a cool city. But
it takes 2 hours to get to the goddamn stadium after you get off the airplane. So think about that. If you're in the Miami Heat, and you're flying from Miami to Denver, it's a long plane ride, and then it takes you almost 2.5, 3 hours in a bus just to get to your goddamn hotel. That's why
Denver?
Yeah, that's why I always think Denver has
It's not a 2.5 hour ride. No, it's not.
We'll look it up.
2.5 hour ride to town.
Yes, from the airport.
No way, bro. The airport's a little bit outside of Denver. It's not that far.
Considering traffic and everything else.
Okay. I was just there a couple of years ago.
All right. I'll get through this real quick.
Let's go ahead.
All right. I'm going back to Vegas, Dave. Speaking of Vegas, I know we're going to you're taking me out to Vegas. I hope to God we're not staying in a Marriott-owned hotel. That's going out to Michael Irvin.
What did Michael do?
Seems like he did nothing. Supposedly, they haven't released the video. They're supposed to release the video today. The Marriott is a big corporation relationship with the NFL. the NFL hasn't said shit. Marriott's supposed to release this. Supposedly a Marriott employee was somehow harassed by Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin lost basically his job with the NFL network. He was pulled off the Super Bowl.
Oh, I didn't see this.
Yeah, he is suing the Marriott for, I believe it's like $100 million, and they have to act on it today. So
wow.
If you take me out to Vegas, God knows what the fucking
Well,
happened.
we're staying at the Sahara. I don't think that's a Marriott-owned hotel, but nowadays I would have to really check the fine print. I don't know. I think we'll be okay though. I'm not going to wear I guess I'm just not going to wear a suit with a fat tie like Michael Irvin. I'm going to have to stay away from that.
I guess I'm not worried about you. I'm more worried about me, but we'll figure it
out. Well,
I've never been.
We'll put you in a suitcase and just like haul you around. You'll be like able to hide like some sort of fucking ventriloquist dummy. Okay, that's what we'll do. We'll just have you in the little box and knock you when you need to come out.
Ninja. I'll just break up my bouncing bartending skills and I'll just get through the crowd.
Exactly. Dude, by the way, digressing just 1 second, I showed John Cocktail the other day on Sunday for the first time. I rented it for like $1.74 on Amazon Prime. And so we watched Cocktail for the first time. He loved it. The movie held up great. I told him
it holds up pretty good.
I was like, this movie really set me on fire as a kid. It made me, because of Elizabeth Shue, thank you very much. It made me understand how much I just desperately love women.
Well, and it's not just
that movie.
I love not great. It's an old school movie, but there's two jobs that are involved in that movie, and they're the two oldest jobs in the movie or in Lifetime, and that's one, prostitution, and two, bartending. So we've been doing it for quite a while. I
like that Javon did answer the bell here, because we said, Javon, if you were listening, we wanted to send a shout out to you. He says to your point, Matt, about your relationship with God, nature, etc., is personal. But if we can't act in a way in which God exists, that's a start. Okay, I think he means if we can't. Mike Irvin and the White House. Well, I tell you, Michael Irvin used to like to visit White House Road. I know that. Michael Irvin was absolutely. Michael Irvin was a huge skier. He was an absolute. It's funny because people thought he was just an NFL player. No, he was a huge skier.
And I guess I think I know where Javon's going with that. I just don't want to get into politics. I think Javon knows me and you.
I'm okay with it.
We like to. Well, we can tell Trump he's an idiot, but I ain't going to go down that road.
Oh, that's
sorry.
fine.
I'm going to say sorry. I'm going to get
through this. It's a bunch of really old guys.
Yeah, a bunch of old, white guys, unfortunately. But it is, and we're talking to two young, middle-aged white guys right now. So I guess I don't know. Let me get through this real quick.
Okay.
All right. So, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, Tom Brady. One of you is playing next year. Seriously, it's probably going to happen. And I'm sorry, my money is probably still on fucking Tom Brady. And then finally, I'm going to get into baseball because we brought that up a little bit earlier. We have some UK CNN. I'm going to use this term likely fuck because they like to use the word see you next Tuesday all the time.
Yeah.
That's why I can't wait to go over to England because I really
you just want to use that word
a lot more, especially because with the way the F-bomb comes out. I'm sorry if your mom's listening and my mom's listening. Cindy's, we love you. I'm just sorry that I like to use the F-bomb every once in a while.
I think our parents, by the way, at this point in our lives, seeing as how we're middle-aged men, I feel like they have gotten this. I think they've gotten this hint.
I don't know if they're ever going to get used to it, but I think they can kind of understand.
Even my grandmother, rest in peace, Gigi, started to get used to it.
All right. So, I'm getting knocked on Denver. I get that. All right, one more. Sorry, let me get through baseball.
Let's go.
And finally, so talking about this CNN guy, I'm sorry I lost his name, but he's telling us that our new baseball rules are fucked. Yeah, ask the MLB players. We just talked about how a game started 1-1. I don't know how we have a guy from the UK telling us that our baseball's fucked up when I don't even fucking understand cricket.
Okay.
So he can go fuck himself.
There you go. That's fair.
That's my rant for the day, bro.
That's fair. Anybody from the UK, just stuff it. Okay.
Do you understand the rules of cricket? Because I don't.
Listen, this is what you say to somebody from the UK. Hey, you cunny, go get yourself some spotted dick and just calm right down then.
And you nick us.
That's what I'm saying. And by the way, the English folks, they love to gobble up spotted dick. You know what? Spotted dick is one of their delicacies, right? It's a bread pudding.
Yeah.
It's called spotted dick.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with, sorry, I'm going to let you go with that.
No, I'm just saying spotted dick is something that guys in the UK and gals too.
I am not familiar with that.
Love to gobble up. They like to take heaping mouthfuls of spotted dick. I'm just saying that's a real thing. Now, Marengo Mike checking in from Marengo, Illinois this morning wants to correct us, you specifically, on how long it takes to get from Denver's airport to the city itself. Denver airport is 45 minutes, Matt, to 1 hour to town. I've done it over 10 times. Boom. There you go.
Right.
You can't argue with that logic because I agree. Marengo Mike, I've been there. It's not 2 fucking hours.
I guess what I'm going to say on this, from my understanding, is it is one of the, well, you also have time zone changes, and you also have to deal.
You can't take into consideration time zone changes.
No, from Miami to I know I'm wrong. Fuck it. I'll eat it. I'm stepping on it. I'm not trying to make an excuse. I'm just trying to say that it is one of the longer commutes for any NBA team from airport to your hotel. I'll go with that, and I'll just quit stepping on my dick.
Okay, there you go. Rob Dog says, just ask the British how things went for them after July 4th, 1775. Ooh. Yeah, take that, British.
Yeah, I don't know if they really care.
Yeah, they did. They still had an imperial empire that stretched out, well, pretty much to this day, stretches out across most of the known world. They're fine.
They're still cunty.
Yes, they are. You bloody canny. Go get your spotted dick. I just think that's fun to say.
I enjoy it myself. My Irish accent sucks too, but I mean, get a couple of fucking Goldschlagers and me in every accent.
Yeah, I can't remember where I was, but over the last couple of days, I started pulling out several accents, and people were just taken aback, like, "Wow, we didn't know you could do that." And I said, "Yes, of course, I'm an actor."
We're trying.
All right, so Matt, one of the things that we are going to talk about this morning, at least in some tangent ways, because I just want to take a little temperature of our audience members and those that are joining us from, well, parts unknown on our social media feeds at the Sports Carney. You guys can and gals know that I grew up a Laker fan. And while I'm still firmly a Bucks fan today because of what the Bucks have meant to me since I moved here 6+ years ago, I've got affection for my team that I liked when I was a kid. Now, I'm not a LeBron James fan, so we can put this out there. And it's not that I don't think he's a great basketball player. We started talking about this when he passed Kareem. He's a top 5 all-time player. You really can't get around that. He just is. But I'm not a fan necessarily of LeBron James. That said, I was getting a little excited about what the Lakers potentially could do in a run-up to the NBA's Western Conference playoffs. Would they get in? If they did, what kind of noise would they make? Well, all of that predicated on LeBron James being on the court because he's needed to play at like a Hall of Fame MVP level, which he has this season when healthy, in order for the Lakers to even be competitive. Well, now it looks like LeBron James, according to Adrian Wojnarowski and a number of other insiders here, Matt, it looks like LeBron will be out likely several weeks, and may miss the rest of the regular season. The Sports Carnival poll question this morning is simply, are the Lakers playoffs hope dashed now? What are your thoughts? Before I tell you what the Twitter followers are saying right now, what are your thoughts? Are their playoff hopes dashed? Yes, no, or who cares?
No, I don't think so at all. Obviously, they did a lot of changes. Bring up the smartest thing, in my opinion, and obviously I'm not much the NBA guy as you are, is they got Westbrook away. They opened up the team. They brought in some new talent. We'll see what's going forward. The Lakers are going to make some noise no matter what. The West is very competitive. I get that. But once LeBron comes back, I don't want to equate this to Janus because Janus is going through his own issues right now. I just think that this is a perfect timing for LeBron James to rest up for the playoffs.
Wow. Okay, so the Lakers currently in 13th place in the West. They have to get to 10 to get to the play-in, right? So their record to get into the play-in would have had to have been around 17-6. So
let me look that up. Do you know who's in front of them?
Everybody. There's only 2 teams behind him. Like,
I guess that's true.
The Spurs and the Rockets are the only 2 teams behind him right now.
Thunder are ahead of him?
I believe so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Listen, the Lakers have been playing better, 4-1, since they put together this new team, this new look. So it's not without hope, but a lot of that has to do with LeBron. Let me just tell you, on our Twitter feed, at the Sports Carney, 68.8% of those that have responded say, yeah, the Lakers' playoff hopes are done. 18.8% say no. 12.5% say who cares. Our Facebook group page, 50% for yes, 25% no, 25% strongly saying they do not care.
So they have the Pelicans and the Trailblazers in front of them.
Yes. I mean, like right now, because those are the teams in the play-in. So they must be 12.
They're number 12. Yep. So you said the 10 team, is it 11 and 10 that play in? Or
it's 7 through 10 or the play-in. So in order to get guaranteed a playoff spot, you have to be 6 or higher now.
Okay. So right now, if you want me to go down really quick. So number 8 is the Jazz, number 9, Timberwolves, 10, Pelicans, 11, Blazers, 12, Lakers.
Yeah. They've got a lot of work to do. Listen, without LeBron James, this is going to be a heavy load for them to carry. Again, not our team. I get it, but it is a team that we're going to talk about because they've got LeBron, because they've got AD, and because they were a team that I grew up liking. So there you go. That's the poll question today, Facebook group page and Twitter.
Do you not? So I know you appreciate his athleticism,
yes,
as a talent. Now, is it because you're just a Lakers fan, diehard Lakers fan, that you just don't want him? Do you want them? I guess where are you at on why you really don't enjoy him as a player.
Well, I enjoy him as a player, I suppose. He's just not my favorite player because when I was growing up as a kid, I watched Magic, Kareem, and these guys win 5 championships and go to 9 in the first, 12 years of my life. These guys went to 9 championships and won 5. So I grew up with a certain kind of winning culture that, sorry to say, Packer fans, you would never understand. You can never understand that kind of winning culture that the Lakers provided for a kid like myself. You're in the fucking championship every year for my first 10 years.
Well, you're talking to a Chicago guy.
Yeah. Okay. Same thing. Sorry, Chicago guy. Even during Michael Jordan's great run, they still didn't get to as many chips as the Lakers did over that time. So my point being, I grew up a serious Laker fan. LeBron, though, is just one of those guys that, while great as he is, never really captured my attention as that kind of player, because I've looked at guys like Kobe, like Michael, Tim Duncan even. These are kinds of guys and kinds of players that I just really appreciated because they were stone cold killers. LeBron ushered in an age in which I think players got a little too chummy for my liking. Again, I don't begrudge them their friendships, but I enjoyed the saltiness between the Pistons and the Lakers, between the Celtics and the Lakers, between the Sixers and the Bucks. I like that these teams weren't really all that friendly with each other. And I feel like LeBron James ushered in this sort of everybody's a friend, the banana boat group, him, Chris Paul, Carmelo, D Wade, Chris Bosh. I mean, cool. You guys are all super good, super rich players. That's awesome. But it softened the NBA to me.
It's not as
to a degree. No. And while LeBron James, again, you can't take anything away from what he's accomplished because the guy is just simply nearly unmatched in his accomplishments at this point. I've just never been a big fan of his. So was I happy that the Lakers won a bubble championship? Yeah, because the Bucks couldn't win. When the Bucks decided they weren't going to play really after the issue in Racine and essentially forego the entire bubble experience, was I happy to see the Lakers win? Sure. But at this point now, I'm not necessarily the Laker fan that I was as a kid. Now I'm more a Bucks fan. But at the same time, I see something like the Lakers make these big trades, and it does excite me. Then I look at LeBron James being out, and I'm like, okay, there you go.
Do you think
that's really, about it?
If he had the best, he has obviously choices in a vacuum in the world, everything else. Do you think he feels he made the wrong decision by staying with the Lakers and signing up?
No, it was all about business.
But when he re-signed that contract extension on the last 2 seasons that he's had, it's just business. Pay me, and
he's got an empire now. I mean, think about this: the world in which LeBron James occupies is now so far outside of just basketball.
Is he ever going to get another championship in his career?
I doubt it.
Yep. So
I doubt it. Yeah. But again, that's not at this point the most important thing. He's won championships with 3 different franchises. He's the all-time leading scorer.
Do you think
he's 4th all-time in assists?
Do you think he's just sticking around so he can play with his kid?
Not just that. He wants to put things, I think, record-wise, so far out of reach, they're untouchable. I never, ever, ever thought that Kareem's record for points would be broken. I really never did. The fact that LeBron James has broken that record is an accomplishment. I mean, one of the greatest sports accomplishments of all time. There's just nothing you can say to take that away from him. So I think he plays for his own personal legacy. Again, 4 championships with 3 different teams, all-time leading scorer, having gone to 10 NBA championships. The guy's going to be one of the GOATs of all time. But I think his legacy now is his movie company. He's trying to make really bad movies like Space Jam Part 2 or some shit.
Yeah.
But he's trying to build an entertainment platform. He's trying to build a company. And for that, I think that he's in the right spot. I think that LA's probably the spot that you should be in.
Well, he's one of the smartest business acumens out there with what he's done, especially coming out of high school, not having a college degree. He learned off people that he surrounded himself with, wonderful people. He's obviously educated himself. He's a businessman. I can understand that. But I guess I'm looking at this as is he turning like the Tom Brady type of thing where he has to do TB12? When are you going to stick around? And I brought this up to you before, obviously, Tom Brady retired. Who was going to retire first? Was it going to be LeBron James, Aaron Rodgers, or Tom Brady? We don't know if Tom's retired yet. I don't know what LeBron's going to. Obviously, he hasn't said in his papers. Everybody thinks he is.
He signed a multi-year contract with.
But yeah, I get it. But he's still taking off a year. But you're never retired in the NFL until 324 Park or whatever the fuck it is gets your goddamn papers. So I brought it up in the rant. I'm not sold yet. I guess my thing is LeBron is always going to have his legacy. So is Tom Brady. But at some point in your career, and I'm going to bring up Rodgers again. Is it about being the MVP or about being in championships? And if you're playing this game and you're adults in this, you want to go after championships. For LeBron James being stuck in his situation I'd be whatever, hard to pull out your hair with the buzz cut that he has. But I'm thinking at this tail end of his career, hindsight's 2020, and I think he's probably really regretting because he's not going to win a championship with the Lakers.
Yeah, I don't think it matters as much as you think it does. He's already got 4 championships. He's been to 10. Think about that. 10 times as many as Aaron Rodgers could ever have gone to. Interesting. We'll be back with Matt Janus, UWL head football coach, also not an Aaron Rodgers fan.
Now more than ever, if you're looking to buy or sell your first home or perhaps an investment property, you need a full-time dedicated real estate agent who is up to date on all the latest trends and analysis and is ready to give you the kind of service that you deserve. That's why the official real estate agent and the official real estate partner of the Sports Carnival is Kyle Cable of OneTrust Real Estate. Whether you're looking to buy or sell your first home or perhaps you are a seasoned investor, call the official real estate agent partner of the Sports Carnival, Kyle Cable of OneTrust Real Estate.
And welcome back. Sports Carnival continues to roll on here, broadcasting live from the Trauma Center studios. Sending a shout out this morning to our betting partner, BetUS, betus.com. Enter promo code Carnival and get 125% free play match on deposit. Johnny Wazinski from Stacks Family Farms, Johnny Wad checking in this morning saying, hey, Dave, nice hat. Nasher, man, he was super excited to get this hat last night. Johnny had left it for him.
To ear,
oh,
Johnny.
My goodness. It was fantastic. Joining us here on the Sports Carnival from the offices of the University of Wisconsin Lacrosse's football program is our main man and regular Tuesday contributor, Matt Janus. Top of the morning, Matt. How are you today?
What's shaking, you guys? How we doing?
We're doing
Morning,
great,
Coach.
man. It's not snowing. We've got a nice, bright, sunny day out today,
Right?
so I think we're doing pretty good, Coach. There's a couple of things that we want to touch on with you this morning. The Bears potentially trading a number 1 pick, your QB week, which is going on right now at UW. But before we get into any of that, we've got a new little feature a new wrinkle, if you will, that we want to add into some of our guests, especially those that people may not know on a personal level. Matt's got 5 random questions for you. Are you ready for these 5 very completely non-tied together questions?
Let's go.
I guess,
Okay.
Coach, I do have one OLI, one outside lines right there, and I've been doing my research. I didn't know you were a Platteville guy as much as you were. I went to Platteville my freshman year, but I'm going back to this. When would you ever bring back the flow, the hair, the outside with your, when was the last time you had that?
I would love to. It got annoying. I would, but it was just such a process. See, it was like COVID, so you didn't see anybody for whatever that was, 4 or 5 months, right? So you just kind of let it go, and then it was like, I'll just keep going. But it got annoying. I think I remember I was stuck in actually Disneyland with my kids, and it was hot, and I was sweating. I'm just like, I'm done. It's going. I'm cutting it off the second we get home.
All right. I love the answer. I got a couple questions I asked Joe DeGuano yesterday, but I have a couple new ones for you. So this is the first one I got for you, Coach Matt. Bungee jumping off of a bridge or parachuting out of an airplane?
Can I get a neither?
No, you got to do one.
I don't want to be up. If I had to choose one,
there's no right or wrong answer. I'm not going to get you in trouble, but
I guess if it's just simple answers, I'm going to go with parachuting because I'm guessing you would get the guy if I'm skydiving, right? You get the support guy that I'd feel a little bit more comfortable with.
All right. I love it. Your favorite summertime leisure vehicle, is it a golf cart or a boat? Are you on the water or are you on the course?
Probably more on the course.
Okay. What's your handicap?
Not good. I'm
all right. I love it.
I will just let you guys know when it comes to playing golf, I am handicapped. That's my handicap. Right? Yeah.
All right. This one, there's no, it's going to be, don't have to think about it too long, but if you had to and you have to, what's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh
God. Probably something by Blink-182. Dave knows that.
Yeah,
that's
all
the
the
only
small
music
things.
I know. So yeah, probably all the small things. There's something. Yep.
All right, this one maybe can throw out for your wife Hannah, or I don't know. It could be your answer, her answer. Your favorite non-sport movie?
Ooh,
the Titanic.
Rom-com guy? I'm sorry.
The Titanic. If we're going that, the Titanic.
All right. This one's for you, Coach, and for me. Obviously, we are Bears fans here. Your favorite fullback name or favorite fullback not named Matt Suey? And please don't say Daryl Johnston.
Fullback, huh?
Not named Matt Suey.
Allstott, I guess.
All right. That's all I got for Coach. I had to bring out number 26 from the 85 Bears. So
we all know the correct answer is John Coon.
I figured Oh, you can go
It's the
Riggins.
coup.
I'm with you on that. All right, Dave, back to you, brother.
Well, I thought that was just a lot of fun. And now I've got my mind on a couple of other questions he didn't ask you. Like he asked Joe DeGuano, sunburn, worst sunburn, where was it at on your body? And where were you when you got said sunburn?
Honeymoon. I was in Punta Cana, and it was like eye black. It got so bad that it looked like I was wearing eye black. Like it got that burnt and
That's bad. That is bad. Did it take you a while before you could smile right again?
Yeah, I mean, it was just like peeling. It was horrible.
That's awesome. I do want to throw this up here. I see Gus Fimple is joining us this morning, and he says Titanic has a lot of swimming. Sports movie confirmed. That's a good one, Gus. We like that one. All right, Matt, I want to ask you about QBs at UW because this week, if you're following UWL's football team on social media, you might have seen this. UWL is going through what we call quarterback week now. And we've talked about the weeks and why it is that you have these, DB weeks and QB weeks. I want to give a little shine to the players on an individual or group basis anyways for a week on social media. I think that's a great idea. So let's talk about the QB room coming into the 2023 season because you're obviously going to be without a guy that split time as a starter. Cade Garcia's left the program. He's graduated. You've still got Kaiser Helterbrand. Who else in your quarterback room do you anticipate making a big push? Let's talk about these guys.
Yeah, jacked about this room, and Kaiser, it starts with him, obviously, and returning as a number, first team all-purpose back last year, consistently able to do some really special things with his legs, and we've talked if Kaiser didn't play quarterback, he'd probably start at 5 other positions for us. So Kaiser's coming back, and obviously his biggest thing has just been getting healthy, and he's been busting his butt. He's already running, so he's going to get that thing, ready to go and clearance really right before camp. And then as we look at the rest of that room, we brought in a transfer here, Zach Weir, from Eastern Illinois. So he's a Division I transfer. He played, actually, I believe he started 3 games for Eastern Illinois last year. Got 3 years of eligibility left in that. Just really excited about him and what he's going to bring to this. And it's so huge that he's transferring in at semester here, because now he's going to get to be able to go through spring ball with us, right? And so, he's going to get that, he's going to jump ahead. He's going to get comfortable with the playbook, comfortable with our guys. He's already with them in the weight room, working out and all that stuff. So really excited about him. Again, you're talking about a guy that's in the, Missouri Valley and started in games young, and got kind of that playing experience under his belt. And, he has a tremendous arm with that. And then he brings some athleticism as well. So, him, Kaiser, and then, with that room, we also have Austin Larson from Unalaska. He comes back. He's really working hard, processes everything at a really, really high level, knows exactly where to go with the ball. Had some injuries over the last kind of couple of years that just nagged him and kind of affected his throwing mechanics. So I know he's been really working hard this offseason to fix that. And then we also have Riley Warzinski. He's going to be a sophomore for us from Stevens Point. He was really our true freshman quarterback on the team last year. Really big guy, brings some athleticism, kind of similar to Kaiser in a little bit with the athleticism. Big guy with the arm strength and ability to move. And then, in that room, 2 new guys onto that team are also going to be Johnny DeBoer, who was on our team in 2021. And we actually ended up kind of gray shirting him to save his eligibility, with everything kind of lined up in that room. He's a huge guy. He's 6'6". He has a cannon of an arm. He's probably got the strongest arm on the team, probably can throw the ball. I mean, no joke, probably 70 yards down the field. So we got him coming back. And then our last one in that room is actually going to be Austin's brother from Unalaska, and Aiden Larson. And Aiden was not a part of our roster last year as we kind of felt he needed to go through a full offseason. But he has he's like his brother. He's got tremendous processing with everything. He's not going to be the biggest guy. He's not going to have the strongest arm talent, but his ability to understand the game, he reminds me a lot of Cade, actually. Cade Garcia would be like who Aiden reminds me of a ton. So really excited about that room moving forward. They're going to get a ton of reps. We got all those guys. Most of those guys are going to Europe. So they're going to get, close to 30 something practices here and a game under their belt. So it's their week now. Excited to see what they're going to have going on. And the DBs had Coach Zweifel put them on like a whole scavenger hunt last Sunday through the whole city. So they kind of ended at his house for dinner. They were at the Oktoberfest grounds. They were up on the bluffs. They were at the world's largest six-pack. So Coach Zweifel made them kind of go around town. So Coach McGuire's kind of the next one to kind of follow suit with some sort of activity for them as well.
Wow, that sounds really, really exciting. And Matt, I'm listening to Coach Janus talk about these QBs. I'm getting excited. We've got 2 on Alaska boys, which is really fun. When we've got the local tie-in, that's always super fun. Kaiser coming back, and this guy was electric. Reminded me of like a Taysom Hill sort of a hybrid last year for you guys. Now you get a D1 transfer in from Eastern Illinois. Correct me if I'm wrong, fellas, but didn't Jimmy Garoppolo go to Eastern Illinois?
I believe so.
Yes.
Let me double check on that.
I think Romo did too, right?
Yeah, I wanted to say it was Romo and Jimmy Garoppolo, from what I recall. Yeah. And look, Marengo Mike, whose son actually is one of your linebackers on defense and also on special teams, Mr. Oin, Marengo Mike Oin says Sean Payton and Jimmy G, good Eastern Illinois pedigree. Okay, Sean Payton as well. Well, that's really exciting news, Matt. And I think that, I think that from a fan's perspective, this gives us a lot of juice coming into a season too, because the success that you guys have had over the last couple of years, while it's not unprecedented in Eagles history because there is the national championships with Roger Herring, this really does set a precedent and a sort of expectation that you're going to be an exciting football team, a winning football team, a competitive football team in the Wyatt Conference, and possibly in the national landscape. You've got to live up to those expectations. And these kinds of quarterbacks, they help a lot because, hey, we know that no matter what level of football you play nowadays, having a good quarterback is definitely part of the recipe. Now, with that, fellas, this is going to be a radio transition into the Chicago Bears conversation because you're both Bears fans. And I want to get your take on this week's report that the Bears are now more likely interested in trading back from that number 1 spot, keeping Justin Fields at quarterback, and doing something else with the haul of draft picks that they could potentially get from teams like Houston. Who knows if the Colts might want to trade up, I should say, to take that number 1 pick. A lot of teams would be interested in taking that. Atlanta at 6 would probably want to make a move there. So, Matt, we'll start with you, Janus, then we'll go to you, Ellens. Your thoughts as a Bears fan on now the reports that they trade the pick back, keep Justin Fields, and try to build a team around him.
Well, they're certainly trying to advertise it, huh? I mean, you might as well just take out a billboard in every city, put it in front of their NFL.
Excuse me, bullshit.
To trade the number 1 pick. I mean, I like that. My favorite was the the Adam Schefter tweet at like 4 a.m. So clearly he knew about it. They leaked it to him. But no, I think when it comes to the pick, Dave, it's really the question is going to be is what's going to be the value for the player, right? And obviously we're looking at the quarterback position. Like if a team is going to trade up, like what's the value for whoever they want, right? Bryce Young or Stroud or Leavitt or whoever. So I think that's what they got to kind of figure out. And everybody points back to the last time that happened. It was 16 with Goff, and I think it was 2 1s, 2 2s, a multiple a pick, a 3. So that was the value, but it wasn't for the number 1 pick, right? That was the value thought for Jared Goff. And so right now, I think it's going to be kind of quiet. Like I don't think the Bears are going to get anybody nibbling right now until after the combine, until after Stroud and Levis. And I think the guy I would almost look at is the Richardson guy from Florida, until those guys throw, right? Until after Bryce is young, because Bryce Young's not going to throw. He's going to do the pro day. So until all that happens, nothing's going to really heat up, or at least that's what I feel, right? Because there is no, I just feel with those guys, there's no consensus number 1 out of that group. Right? There's no Trevor Lawrence. There's no Joe Burrow. There's no Jared Goff. There's no consensus number 1 pick. So I think it's going to be hard to shop that, right? Until those guys throw, until there starts getting some heat on whether it's Bryce Young or whether it's Richardson or whatever the case may be, until that starts to build up, I don't know who's going to really trade it, right? And then you look at that, and then you try to look at the quarterback needy teams, right? And you say okay, as you already said it, right? Is Indy going to try to jump Houston? Well, they got to like somebody pretty darn good to want to jump Houston. And if they don't, why would you give away everything, right? And the Panthers, the Raiders, I don't know if those guys are going to go for a rookie and trade up for a rookie. I think, and I do think that in this draft, I think you're better off freaking wait until next year or wait until that guy comes. Like, right? Like, if this is next year, like, and it's Caleb Williams, the Bears should draft him and trade Justin Fields, right?
Yes.
Like that would be kind of your answer right there, right? But this year there's not. And so for some of these teams, I think you're better off trying to sign, some of these free agents, whether it's Carr, Garoppolo, try to get guys that can maybe win you, maybe not win you a Super Bowl, maybe get you to the playoff. Like, I think Jimmy G can get a team to the playoffs, and you bide your time until that guy comes that is the consensus number one, and then you trade away everything to get Caleb Williams, right? So I think it's gonna be, when it comes to that pick, it's gonna be what are you gonna get for it, and who's willing to trade up until that kind of that hype gets going around one guy, then you're just getting stuck. I don't think they're going to get a lot of suitors until maybe next week, maybe this time next week, or maybe even further along.
Yeah, I don't think that, for what it's worth, also, when you look at recent history, the prospect of trading for a number one pick is a smart idea. There's only been 2 times in the 2000s that's happened. You mentioned Jared Goff, the guy before that, Michael Vick. Now, Jared Goff, he was never worth a number one pick, but look at how many times we have teams fail with those top couple of positions. Carson Wentz, who Javon's saying, we'd love to get your take on. Not even really worth the take. The guy's washed. You had Carson Wentz at 2, right? You had Trey Lance a couple of years ago, the 49ers giving up the farm for him. Will he play for them? We don't know. The kid from North Carolina is interesting, and you mentioned Caleb Williams. That's a next-year prospect, so I'm with you. What's the value of that number one pick? Matt, let me transition to you real quick. Ellens, what do you think about the Bears trading back? You said something not really under your breath. You said bullshit. So you think this is another smokescreen?
Well, I guess I'm going to start with saying this. We have Steve Millay coming and saying that on Facebook, telling us that the Bears still suck. That's great. You just need to come up with something more original. We've been hearing that since we've been Bear fans our entire fucking lives. Some good new material would do better for you on that one, Steve, even though I am listening to you on this. I'm calling out bullshit on this, and Coach Janus just knocked it out of the park. This is the worst fucking draft for the Bears to have the worst first pick in a long time.
It is.
We kind of touched it up last week a little, I believe it was last week when we talked about how the Jaguars got the number one pick 2 years in a row. I'm with Coach again on that. The Bears, where they have all this capital, they have all the money to spend, they might as well just run down the fucking season another time and go for the first pick again next year. I don't want to see that because it's not good for the NFL. It's bad for my heart. Obviously, I do root for the Bears. I also root for whoever signs my brother's fucking paycheck. So for me, it's one of those things that it's always good for me personally when the Bears are playing well. It's good for the NFL. It's good for us to talk on the radio. It's just one of those things. Smoke screen. I think it's all fucking bullshit. It's just Poles is doing his job, and he's going to we're going to have another new release or new snippet from Schefter or somebody else next week saying the Bears are thinking about holding on to it just so they can gain.
Well, it's probably the right idea because, again, you don't really get leverage by giving away your hand, right? Yeah. So if you tell everybody this is what we're going to do, then it definitely decreases your leverage. Here's what I think, though, will not happen. I don't think the GM for the Bears, Poles, has got another year to waste all the cap space and the prospects of building a roster the way that they do now. The Bears could actually be a worst to first team here. I mean, I know that Justin Fields isn't a complete quarterback by any stretch, but he rushed for 1,000 yards last year.
In my opinion, they should make the playoffs this year.
Well, they should, because if you have the opportunity to draft like this and you could basically buy a team, if I'm a GM, I'm not letting this thing go for another year saying, we'll kick the can next year. You never know if you've got next year in the NFL. I mean, it stands for not for long. I wouldn't want to waste that. I wouldn't want to waste that. All right, Matt. Well, that's really what we had for you this morning. We got your take on the Bears. We got your QB room, and we got your Italian 5 questions.
Along, Coach? How's your Italian coming along?
There you go. That's the last.
It's going okay. I understand. I probably can't speak it, but I'm doing a lot of Duolingo. So I got like a 30-day streak going. I don't do very much of it, but I could probably pick out some signs right now. It's actually it's kind of similar to Spanish. Like, so if you know a little bit of Spanish, it's not, I didn't know that. Like, you can kind of link some of the words like, I know what some of that means, but I don't know if I can speak it yet. I don't know if I have that.
If you come back speaking Latin, we're going to have a problem, Coach.
Well, listen, I won't have a problem. I'll be thankful that we got Matt on before he became too good for us if he starts speaking Latin. Yeah. I just got the alert that I'm still paying for Babbel, so I got an $84 charge. I need to get my Spanish on because that was a New Year's proclamation I made 2 years ago. Now I'm with you. I've got to get on this thing because it's not that difficult. Matt, it's great having you on as always. Appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us and being a good sport with our new our new little wrinkle here, these 5 unrelated questions. You were great as always. We'll talk to you next Tuesday, brother. Have a great rest of your day.
Well, thank you guys. And Matt, you kind of wrecked the rest of my day now because you're right. It is the worst draft to have the number 1 pick. Like, and I haven't like officially said that to myself yet.
Yeah.
And now I'm just pissed off. So now
sorry,
I'm pissed off.
I'm sorry about it.
I'll see you guys later.
Go Eagles.
Preferred Insurance is the official auto, home, business, flood, and life insurance agency of the Sports Carnival, serving folks in La Crosse and surrounding areas with licenses in Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa. As an independent insurance agency, Preferred Insurance is free to find the very best insurance for you, your family, or your business needs. Call my friends at Preferred Insurance today and set up a free consultation. Remember, working with an independent agency means Preferred Insurance works for you, with you, to find the best solutions at the best prices.
Sports Carnival broadcasting live from the Trauma Center studio, powered by the Recovery Room. Back with you here on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. And if you're listening to this and it's not live, it's on one of a number of the big time podcast platforms here and around the world. Thank you so much for participating with us. I like Gus Fimple checking in. He says something in Italian, I believe, molto bravo, talking about Matt Janus doing his Duolingo thing. So Gus is somebody who I mentioned a couple of days back here on the program, and perhaps it was actually last week when we had Coach Janus on. He's the friend of the show that travels to Italy quite a bit for business. So he's really been, over the last couple of years, getting himself deep in Italian. Gus, if you're still watching and you can participate with us, are you fairly fluent in Italian now? This is something I've been wondering about. Are you fairly fluent in Italian now? Joe V did check in. I put this on the screen here, Matty. He said his kid played baseball with Aiden, and he is just a good shit. Aiden, of course, one of the QBs in the Eagles' upcoming QB room we talked to Matt Janus about. If you follow the Eagles on social media, they're a great follow, and they do promote on a weekly basis now one of their position groups, this being QB week, and that prompted the question here today. So glad to get some of that out there. And Joe V, thank you for that. There is Gus Fimple, and he says he's getting there. Yep. He's getting there. That's awesome, dude.
Speaking of listeners, I'd like to throw out 2 shout-outs if that's okay,
sure.
Dave.
Let's do it.
I have Ryan from CCR cleaning my grill this morning, or I should say my exhaust. Kind of came in, told him that I had to get up there. He told me not to fuck it up. So we have another listeners out there. It's growing. So a special shout-out to Ryan. And I have to throw out a special shout out to my father, Dr. Dan, the Dirty Doctor. It's his somewhat birthday today. Dave, guess how old my dad is?
I'm going to say 72 years old.
He is 17 3/4.
17 3/4.
He's 17 3/4 today.
Is he born on a leap year?
He's a leap year. So my mom's been robbing the cradle. They've been together since grade school. So Dad, hoping to take you out for dinner tomorrow night. But,
that's great.
Happy 17 3/4 today, Pops.
That's awesome. Not many leap year babies born. P1 Breacher checking in this morning with us on Twitch and asking, because there's a couple of people that he's working with that are curious which team your brother works for.
So my brother spent 12 years with the Colts. He has a Super Bowl ring, an AFC championship ring. I was at the Super Bowl when they beat the Bears. I kind of brought that up a little bit. He's with Jacksonville with the remodel, which didn't go very well. Obviously, it's better this past better than he left before Meyer, and now he's been with Tampa for this year. He scouts basically the upper from Wisconsin all the way to. He's been scouting Wisconsin right now to Seattle. So he does a bunch, every state in between on the north part of the United States. And
okay.
I believe he might be a free agent after the draft. So everything in the NFL, like Dave said, it's not for long, or it's a lot of transitioning. But I've been blessed. I grew up with the Bears in Platteville back in the day. My great uncle was with the Bears, who's also with the Vikings. So not only does the bar business, but the NFL runs in my blood. I don't know if it's a good thing, but it's fun.
Of course it's a good thing. Are you kidding me? That's one of the reasons that we have you on here, to pick your brain about all your NFL knowledge. You've probably forgotten more NFL than I'll ever know. Maybe.
I don't know about that one.
Me neither. But that was another compliment, which I know you're uncomfortable with, so I wanted to give it to you.
Are we talking about Stack's Family Farm again, or what's going on?
We
there?
could.
Okay.
We could.
No,
Johnny Wad was.
we might have forgot something. Thanks,
Johnny Wad was checking in with us this morning saying, hey, nice hat. Yeah, you're damn right. As a matter of fact, Nash was geeking out so much over this hat last night. We must have spent, between Nash, myself, Rick, and P12 Foreman, who came to bingo, 5 or 6 minutes talking about the efficacy of the hat, how well constructed it was. Very good swag. Let me update our poll question real quick, Matt. I'm not sure that many people care. 16.7% say they do not. But when asked the question, now that LeBron James will likely miss several weeks and perhaps the rest of the regular season, are the Lakers' playoff hopes dashed? 66.7% saying yes, as mentioned, 16.7% saying they flatly don't care. Our Facebook group page earlier had 50% of respondents saying yes, the Lakers' playoff hopes were done. We'll see if we've got an update here now. 46% say yes, 21% say no, and a whopping 33% say who cares, which is anticipated by me. And that's one of the reasons that I put up that as a particular option. I know that we don't have a ton of Laker fans, but I think it is going to be trending news, and I wanted to ask that question. Here's something else that's trending news. And Matt, I was flatly surprised to see what this actual number was, because you and I both talked about the XFL, and we sort of, in the first week of the XFL, used a couple of different days worth of the program to ponder the question aloud if the NFL should co-opt the XFL and sort of become an official partner with them, right? Make the XFL a minor league. Maybe they just don't need to do that. And this is one of the reasons that they might not need to do that. And this would be one of the only ways the XFL could retain autonomy, by drawing huge ratings and by drawing big audiences on television. Check this shit out. The first week of the XFL drew a total of 54 million viewers. Now, amongst men 18 to 49, the prime demo, of course, for football, it got a 10.3 rating. For those not in the business, that is huge. Whopping. It's huge. This is how huge it is. It's the 12th highest Saturday night rating in the category, sports, since Nielsen began its people meter in 1987. So we're looking at a nearly 40-year sample size, which, again, the NFL in 1987 wasn't anywhere near what it is today. So that's a good sample size. The 12th highest rated Saturday night broadcast in sports history since Nielsen began keeping track of this. If you are The Rock, if you are his wife, who I know, or his ex-wife, and his current business partner, you have got to look at this as not just an overwhelming success, but as one of the, to borrow from a movie we shouted out earlier, one of the most titanic successes in all of sports history. Because, listen, say what you will, football's popular. The XFL was not thought under any auspices to be this potentially popular. I give The Rock and his crew enormous credit here, man. This is fucking massive.
Well, it's version 3.0. Obviously, they have some great relationships with being broadcasted. You have them out there so everybody can watch them. And another thing you have to think about is there are no real rivalries. So people that are watching, it's not like the NFL that's been around for fucking 70 plus years where you're watching the Packers playing the Bears. A lot of these rivalries have not existed. So if they can continue to grow, create these rivalries, this game's going to continue to go. People are going to continue to watch it. With all that being said, I think you have to look at the overall picture. Saturday was great for the XFL. Sunday was not so much because of some issues that they're having. They put a shit ton of money in this. I hope it succeeds, just obviously for us as viewers and everybody can watch it. It's football, spring football. I hope they can consistently grow this and they don't have the same issue. If they can do it over like a Saturday and Sunday, I'd seriously believe in it. But with all the issues and I guess it is Sunday. It wasn't a Sunday fun day for most people. But if you have nothing to do on a Saturday and people are watching XFL, good for them.
Dude, 54 million. They could have spread 54 million over the entire season, and it would have surprised me that they got that many views.
That's a fair statement.
This is just, an unmitigated success. Rob Dog was asking, was COVID in 2020 the XFL 2.0's iceberg? Yes, of course it was. It was the iceberg to a lot of things, but in particular, the XFL's reboot. Yes, I don't think, though, that the XFL, even in its second iteration with Vince McMahon, would have been as successful as what we're seeing right now with The Rock, because The Rock is doing things in a completely different way than others have tried to be with their bombast and their pomposity. He's working in a very smart, a very coordinated.
I truly agree with that as well.
He's doing this differently. And listen, I don't know if this becomes the true second league to the NFL, but if early indications do show us anything, this was extremely well received. Extremely well received.
You can see it in The Rock and his passion. They did that opening episode where he got into it. There are times where he is almost in tears. He played in the NFL. He washed out. He had a cup of coffee. So you can see him as an athlete.
He played college. He didn't play the NFL.
I think he actually played at Miami, and I think he
went to the Dolphins. I think his career ended in Miami, though, because then he went to wrestling.
My point to that is Vince McMahon never played fucking
college
college
of course
football.
Not.
But to see The Rock, the passion, because he loved the game, and you can see how it carries over into the league.
Yeah, no, I think we'll check on this. I'm pretty sure he didn't play the NFL, but he did play at Miami because that show Ballers had some clips of him playing in Miami. Either way, fun show today, guys and gals. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm going to be downstairs at the Recov starting at 11 this morning. If you're feeling like joining me for lunch, it'll be a great day. I know the boys were working up some really interesting specials for today. Last night, it was a calamari sandwich at Calamari app. Come on down and see us today at 11 o'clock. If we don't see you today, we'll talk to you bright and early tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock here on the Sports Carnival. Peace.